Hello subscribers and non-subscribers, and welcome back to Victoria 2. So, in this part I think we are mostly going to be focused on building up our military more. Did we start building up our navy at all? No, we did not. Is there a reason for that? I can't think of a reason for why we're not building up our navy right now, but apparently we're not doing that. Let me go ahead and get my timer started. And then we will actually begin. Okay, so let's find a spot to set up our navy to group. Let's not do it down here in Venice. Let's do it in Danzig. You know, that seems like a nice place to do it. And that's probably why. Because I'm wanting to build cruisers as my light ships, and then save up for dreadnoughts for our big ships, because battleships aren't really worth it. And we're only about 4 years out from being able to research the technology that will allow us to potentially invent dreadnoughts. So, yes, I think that's what it is. The game's just taking forever to give us the ability to, you know, actually build cruisers. Because reasons, I guess. How far behind is Italy from taking 8th place over two Sicilies? About 50 points. They should be able to easily do that by just building up their military. And Italy should be able to build a bigger military than two Sicilies quite easily. Oh, and somebody just overtook me for #1 militarily. Oh, it's Russia. Yeah, if it's Russia, it's just kind of whatever. That's really not surprising in the slightest. So let's see if we can grab Switzerland into our sphere. Sadly, because Italy got formed this time in one of my test runs off of an older save, Italy didn't get formed, it stayed divided, so Switzerland actually became a great power. I managed to become friends with them. But sadly, because Italy's formed, Switzerland probably isn't going to become a great power. And we actually still need to get our infamy down just a little bit. Who's my next truce with? Okay, it's with the UK and co. Well, UK and co is it the UK and Russia. We will be under 25 by then. Let's drop Persia and the Netherlands down, try and get a bunch more points into Switzerland. If I can just get to 100 before France, I can kick them out of France's sphere, and France will be a little bit less inclined to work with them. Okay, I'm just missing out on the artillery. Go, better naval bases. Let's get, you know what, let's get semi-automation. And anywhere that I can upgrade my naval bases, let's do so. Which I think is just those 3 provinces up there. Yep. Damn you, France. Let's see. Let's try and get militancy down. Didn't really do anything noticeable for average militancy. But somewhere the militancy went down a little. Yeah, we're not going to be able to get Switzerland. And I don't think I have any techs I can do that can boost. Well, I mean, in 1900 I can get government interventionism, which will boost us a bit, but that's a little ways out. Oh, they kicked me out of Switzerland now. Why didn't you just do that the first time? It would have been so much easier for you. Now, you see, I find this one just a little weird. Our governor in Schleswig has proposed that the anti-German element in the region be reduced through enforcement of German language education and the expulsion of Danish citizens still resident in the province should we undertake this proposal. Here's the reality. Relation with Denmark changed by +100 means nothing, for the simple reason that Denmark doesn't exist. I'll take it for the 10% in favor of jingoism in Abenra, or however the hell it's pronounced. But the Danes of Schleswig are not a threat, and I think we've had that event once before already. And I think we'll get it a number more times. Where the hell did you come from? And Japan wants an alliance, sure. We'll form an alliance with the Netherlands. I will not be signing the Geneva Convention. I will formally create an alliance with you. I will formally create an alliance with Persia. I would love to get Belgium in my... I would love to get Belgium and Switzerland in my spheres. Just because that kind of blocks off most of France. Italy being formed is a minor annoyance. They really are. I might actually try and take land off of them in the future. But we'll see. We'll see how that all works out. But there we go. So now I have some official alliances I can... Oh, the US doesn't actually want one right now. Well, we'll toss a couple points their way and then they'll want an alliance with us. And Scandinavia will never give us an alliance because they have cores in Schleswig-Holstein. Oh, I think those Jacobins might have been troops we recruited. And as soon as they got recruited, they rebelled. Which is going to be an annoyance because now I need to build an extra something. I'm not sure what right now, but I'm going to need to build an extra something. There we go. I have enough. Artillery 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Get our first unit onto the Italian border. Try and make sure we upgrade all of our forts. Particularly along the front lines. And I might as well just do the whole state. Literally no reason not to. We more than have the money. We got $4 million. Well, pounds rather, and nothing to spend it on. Oh, let's see, what are you missing once that guy arrives? Okay, you have 7 infantry, 1 cavalry, and 1 artillery. So you should, in theory, have 9 more artillery being built. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You don't. So you're missing an artillery. So yes, I think that's what it is. That artillery brigade was finished recruiting and then immediately rebelled as soon as they moved over one territory. Conservatives lose a little bit in the House, although in theory I could potentially, you know, drop taxes a little. Well, maybe we'll... Actually, it really doesn't matter, actually. Because we're still an absolute monarchy, so there's, I don't actually know what it is that causes the upper house to change when you're an absolute monarchy. I can understand when you have elections and whatnot. I guess, let's see, it's appointed. I'm gonna make an assumption that I need to lower taxes on the rich. Specifically the aristocrats and capitalists, because they get assigned the seats, and if they're happy with me, they run as conservatives, and if they're upset with me, they don't run as conservatives. So, we'll lower taxes a little on the middle and the rich. The poor will still be paying 70%. There we go. Two Sicilies wants an alliance. Smart two Sicilies. You're gonna want that. Greece wants an alliance with me, which is a little surprising because I don't think we're on the best of terms with Greece. Apparently, Greece actually is decent with us. Apparently, they're not in Britain's sphere, which is bizarre in its own rights, but okay. Mining output. You know, let's get the naval build times down, because cruisers and battleships and dreadnoughts in particular all take forever to actually build. We have about 2 more years until my truce with the Russians expires. They, however, do not have a justification for declaring war on us, so that shouldn't be an issue. However, shouldn't is the operative word there. It could still be an issue. Also, Ostrike doesn't need to be promoting soldiers because it's not actually that populated compared to some of the others. In fact, Bayern should be doing it. Let's see. It should be Bohemia, Slovakia, Schlesien, Bayern, East Galicia, and Württemberg. Okay, that's everybody. Those are the most populous states. Now the reality is I need at least 5. I need 5 armies down here on the Italian border. Optimally. The reason being is 1 for Navarra, 1 for Alessandria, Parma, Medina, and Ferrara. Preferably I'd have a 6 just to allow me to sort of cover when the French walk through Switzerland to get to me. Really? 2 Sicilies are trying to take the Netherlands off me? Why? Thought we were friends. Actually, you know what? Let's get our factories better. Factory output. Yeah, let's go for factory output, which also gives us some inventions for factory input. There we go. Now we can finally build cruisers. And I can only build 3 right now because our naval bases are still taking forever to build, or to upgrade rather. That shouldn't have been a surprise to me though, to be honest. So, okay, I can only build 3. Question is, how many do I want to build? would take forever to build 30 if I could only build 3 at a time. Let's do 9 initially. And then I can easily fill that out later. It's not that big of a deal. And that's just to pump our numbers up a little bit. Also upgrade the fort around our capital. Now, Greece is not actually that important. They don't have any particularly major resources. Especially nothing that I don't already have tons of access to. But, you know, why not take Greece? Okay, we are almost done. We're going to have a second army now down there in Italy. Now, I would love to fill out the rest of this front, but that's not going to happen. It takes way too long to build troops. Damn it, now I need to build another cavalry. Premiership just got oil, and you just lost a bunch of your infantry, annoyingly. Did anybody else lose troops that I now need to deal with? No. Wonderful. You actually also lost an artillery as well. So let's get you a Slovak artillery. I don't know who the rebels were. I will, however, say that they annoyed me. As a result of that decision to rebel. I think that sound was a naval base finishing upgrades, yep. Still not enough. I think you need to be level 5 to build... no, 4. Okay, yes, I guess most of our are still level 3. Oh, here we go. We got, what do the people want? Well, people want landed voting. Well, you ain't getting that because, Upper House is not letting me pass political reforms right now. So what is the highest ranked thing they do want for a social reform? Trinket safety. I'm assuming that means minimal safety regulations. But you know, it kind of doesn't help when Paradox decides to use one naming convention for issues over here, and then a different naming convention for stuff over here. But I'm assuming, yes, trinket safety is minimal safety regulations because most things are starting off with the first tier above nothing is trinket whatever. So 1.78% of the people want trinket safety regulations, which decreases the everyday requirements but increases the cost of factories. The reality is, I kind of already got all the factories I care for, nor am I building them, and I don't really care if the rich need to pay more. I've already lowered taxes on them as well, so that helps them afford to pay for it. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and pass minimal safety regulations, make our people happier. And the factories cost a little extra, oh well. There we go, now the US wants an alliance, and I'm going to go ahead and stop bothering with Switzerland. I'm just going to focus on Greece. And there's an international crisis for Bulgaria. Oh yeah, so this means Ottomans. I don't know why the hell I'm looking all the way up there in Russia. Yes, Bulgaria, you want your independence? Oh yeah, that's straight up independence. I will gladly give you your independence. Who's gonna join me? 2 Sicilies, what do you want? Cut down to size. Okay, you actually would accept that, which is a little unexpected, to be completely honest. In theory, where does everybody lean? Annoyingly, Scandinavia leans towards Russia, 2 Sicilies leans towards me, the French lean towards Russia, and the UK also leans towards Russia. So it's really just me and 2 Sicilies versus the rest of the European great powers. Is the US in a war? No, the US is not in a war. They just don't care to get involved, and Russia's in a, or Japan's in a war rather, so Japan's not going to get involved. Now, I could try and ask people to join. Apparently, 2 Sicily, or not 2 Sicily, Scandinavia does not care if I offered to give them their land. What if I say to outright liberate Scandinavia? Give you both of your cores. Apparently that is not something, which is weird in its own right, that you don't consider that to be something. You try to improve relations with you just a little, and maybe I can swing you. And actually, there's no way in hell I can do that. Scandinavia is really the only one that I had any hope of potentially swinging towards joining. Now, in theory, 2 Sicilies should join me without me needing to do anything. Though I'll drop some points into them to make them a little bit more likely to do it. Oh yeah, start having an alliance with Greece because they offered it to me previously. Yep, there we go. So I could give them what they want. Actually, apparently they would not accept that, which is a little bizarre. That they would not accept a white peace. Really? That's a little weird, to be completely honest, but okay. It should be noted that in the event that this goes to a war, I can win it. It's going to be a pain, but it is possible for me to win it. And there's a bunch of Russian communists. I'd rather not lose railroads. Although, as long as it's not permanent, I guess it's not that big of a deal. You know what? I'll give it a shot in Brandenburg. Please don't be permanent. Oh, it isn't. Okay, I'll just rebuild it myself. I'm the one who blew it up, so I'll pay for getting it rebuilt. Okay. I don't want to have to offer you anything, 2 Sicilies. I really don't. Because that's infamy that I then hit. That I take. No? Okay. Liberate Belarus. No, you don't care for liberating Belarus. Okay. What if you take the Ottomans off their hand? Really, you don't want to take the Ottomans. You want to cut down to size. But I can't give you cut down to size. I'm sorry, I just can't. I don't have the means of doing that. I cannot afford to take the infamy hit. I need to be able to call in what few allies I do have. clearly I'm going to need to send more troops over there, so let's go ahead and send what troops I can spare over there. And let's queue up a bunch more troops, so... queue up 2 more armies, so 16 infantry. 4 hussars, and then 20 artillery. That'll take a while to get built. But I'm clearly going to need it. Now, I don't know if it's just a bug. The game is claiming that they will not accept a peace offer of white peace. The fate of the Bulgarian people has become a major international crisis recently. While the Ottoman Empire currently controls the area, Bulgarian rebels and patriots are making a major effort to free themselves from Ottoman rule. As a great power, we have of course sent an ambassador to discuss the fate of Bulgaria. Unfortunately, he appeared at the latest summit meeting more drunk than usual and proclaimed that we were prepared to settle the issue by giving all other participants a sound thrashing if they don't follow our lead. Naturally, this has escalated the situation, although we can still back down by disavowing his actions, but doing so would be most embarrassing. Damn it, Two Sicilies, just join me already! You know you want to. Okay. Where are we at right now, temperature-wise? It's actually still not that high. Do I want to take the prestige hit? I can afford it. I really can, because the number 2 on prestige is way down there. And I've got a couple points I could spare overall. Let's rattle our sabers. I don't know why you have plus 29 political considerations towards Russia. That just makes no sense to me. I mean, for Christ's sakes, Two Sicilies, we're allies. I'm your only ally, in fact. But you want to be buddy-buddy with Russia, potentially? Do you realize how little sense that makes? Because I don't think they do. Because at least to me, that does not make any sense whatsoever. Oh god. Okay, wait, so this will also drive me into war with the Ottomans, which means I'm going to need to have an army to deal with the Ottomans, and I don't have an army that I can dedicate to dealing with the Ottomans in the event that this... Oh boy. This is kind of the issue. My infamy is still a little on the high side, so nobody wants to be really buddy-buddy with me. Well, I mean, I have buddies, but, you know, they're not particularly helpful. I want to just white piece this again. I've got the prestige, and I'm not really in a rush to get into a big, massive war right now. I mean, I can probably win it against just the UK, France, and Russia. Well, and their buddies of the Ottomans. I don't think Italy would be involved, but Italy would be an annoyance if they, especially if they are involved. I could fight it and white piece it, but then there's really no point in fighting it. So let's see if I can just, you know, offer peace and have them accept. Even though the game says that they will not accept this. Maybe they will. No, they are literally not going to do that. Which is in its own way kind of bizarre that the game literally will not allow them to accept a white peace. which is just weird for a number. You know what? So I'm gonna make a guess that the reason why this is happening is because, you know, I technically have a truce with the Russians for there's the timer, until October of next year. By that point, the war would have already kicked off and been running for a number of months. Can only assume, I say a number of months, actually it would have already been running for quite a while by the time this truce technically expires. I think that's the reason why the game's not letting me offer a white peace. So normally I wouldn't bother doing this. I really wouldn't. But the game has apparently decided that because, again, presumably because I have a truce with Russia, and they're the leader of the defender side of this crisis, that the crisis cannot be white-pieced. Because the game doesn't understand how to just cancel the old truce and start a new one or something, or not even bother making a truce, because I don't think white-piecing out of a crisis causes truces to be created. So again, normally I wouldn't do this. But if the game's going to be funky like this, I'm just going to say screw you to the game, and Bulgaria gains their independence. Welcome aboard, Bulgaria. You now exist. And again, I honestly think I probably would have been able to win that war anyway. It's just a bit of pain in the ass. And the game wasn't going to let me white piece it. So, yeah, screw it. Bulgaria gets their independence for free. Some of you guys might have problems with that, but that's just the way I'm going to do this, because that just, the game decided to break, basically. That's really the only way I can describe it. The game decided to break. And yeah, even that didn't start a new truce, so that's just weird. Also, Bulgaria is going to be an absolute... God damn it, really? I don't know which province of these two it is. I think he's here in Sigmargen, or however the hell it's pronounced, but I don't know for certain, so I'm going to tell that guy to go to both. Cover all my bases. And once we take care of these rebels real quick, I'll end the part. Again, I've mentioned this before. Once you form Grossdeutschland, you're pretty overpowered, though. So, this... Again, that war, we would have been able to win it. I honestly think we would have been able to. It would have been a pain. It would have probably drained all of my armies, and I would have had to basically rebuild every single last one of them. But I think we would have probably been able to win it nonetheless. It'd have been a hell of a lot easier if the US had decided to be a part of the crisis, but they stayed out. I can understand Japan staying out. They were in a war, and you're not allowed to join a crisis if you're in a war. But the US had no reason not to. They weren't in a war. Let's go ahead and upgrade Persia's, and then we'll... Or, well, queue up upgrading Persia's infrastructure, and then we will end the war. Also, surprisingly, Persia has not invaded Abu Dhabi. They typically do. I wonder why it's taken them so long to invade Abu Dhabi. And Oman. Those are two places they love to invade, and yet they haven't done it yet. Do they? No, they have a navy. And it's a tiny navy. But, I mean, Abu Dhabi has literally no military whatsoever, and Oman has a tiny amount. But as soon as you take over Abu Dhabi, you can just ferry an entire army over there in pieces, and then invade Oman. So I don't know why. I really don't understand why they haven't invaded Abu Dhabi yet, but whatever. They'll either invade it, or they won't. Doesn't really make a difference to me. Either way, that's going to be it for this part. Let me save real quick first. That's going to be it for this part. I will see you all next time. Quick reminder, I do have a Patreon, so if you enjoy the content on the channel, that is the easiest and best way to help support the channel. Down there I also have some affiliate links if you wish to go ahead and pick up Victoria 2, because it's a great game. It's a little rough around the edges in some areas because it's one of Paradox's older games. The tutorial should probably pretty much be ignored. It has some inaccurate information. And it might be because the tutorial was made for the vanilla game, and that they made changes with the patches, but they never updated the tutorial. I don't know for certain. I do also have if I remember, I think I might have forgotten it for the last part. If I remember, I'll have a link down in the description for choosing what nation I will play as for the next Victoria 2 campaign. Again, if I recall correctly, the choices are Japan, I think, is still on there. Persia, I think, is also still on there. Russia, I think, is still on there as well. I think I've added the Ottomans. I don't think they were on there originally. Brazil is on there. I think there's some other people, but the names are escaping me right now as to which other ones might be on there. Oh, Two Sicilies, I believe, is on there. I think I might have the Papal States even, but don't quote me on that one. I think Spain's also on there. I don't recall right now off the top of my head everybody that's on there, because I haven't looked at the thing in a little while. But yes, if I remember, I'll have a link down in the description. If I forget, somebody leave a comment, and I'll make sure to go ahead and update the description with it. And then leave a comment as well, possibly pinned. Well, if I leave a comment, it'll be pinned. Either way, whatever. So, yeah. I will see you all next time. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share, and I will see you all next time. But until then, a goodbye and farewell.